Hello everyone, my name is Naim. Welcome to this channel where we learn English step by step. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about a very important skill in English language learning, which is speaking practice. Why do I need to speak, you might ask? Well, because life is all about communication, and English is a global language. So if you want to be able to survive in today's world, it is essential that you know how to speak English. And not only speak, but speak confidently and fluently. So today, we are going to cover three things. First of all, why is it important to practice speaking in English? Secondly, what are some apps that can help us practice our speaking skills? And thirdly, how should we prepare for online English speaking classes or exams like IELTS or TOEFL? Let's get started. Now, before we jump into the main topic, let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a young man who wanted to become a famous singer. He would spend hours and hours every day practicing and learning new songs. But when he went on stage to perform, his voice would shake and he would forget the lyrics. The reason for this was that even though he had practiced alone many times, he had never performed in front of an audience. So when it came time for him to actually sing in front of people, he got nervous and his performance was terrible. This story has a lesson for all of us. It doesn't matter how well we know something theoretically. If we have never put it into practice, it will be difficult for us to use it properly. The same is true for English speaking. Even if you know all the grammar rules in the world and have an enormous vocabulary, it won't help you unless you practice speaking. So remember, no pain, no gain. If you want to become fluent in English, you will have to put in the effort and practice speaking regularly. I know that speaking with native speakers is the best way to improve your English, but don't worry if you don't have anyone to speak with. There are plenty of other ways to practice your speaking skills, which we are going to discuss later in this video. Let's take a look at the benefits of practicing speaking in English. First of all, when you speak, you use both your speaking and listening skills. This helps to improve your fluency and make you more confident. When you speak, you also learn new vocabulary and grammar rules. This happens because when you speak, you are actively thinking about the language and how to use it correctly. As you speak, you may encounter situations where you need to use a certain grammar rule or a new word. This helps you to learn and remember the rule or word more easily than if you were just reading or listening to it. Another benefit of practicing speaking is that it gives you a chance to make mistakes and learn from them. When you speak, you are bound to make some mistakes. However, these mistakes are actually a good thing because they allow you to identify your weaknesses and work on them. For example, if you keep making mistakes with articles, you will know that you need to review this area of grammar. Next, I'd like to share with you my favorite applications for practicing your English speaking. One of my favorite apps for practicing speaking is Elsa Speak. This app provides personalized lessons and real-time feedback on your pronunciation. Another great app for practicing speaking is Speechling. Speechling is a speech practice platform that allows you to record yourself speaking and then receive feedback from native speakers. There are also some other apps such as 123 Speakin' More Django. Now let's move on to the third part of this video, which is how to prepare for an English speaking exam or class. To begin with, make sure you know the format of the exam or class. Different exams and classes have different formats. For example, some may require you to give a presentation, while others may involve a more informal conversation. Once you know the format, you can start preparing for it. If you are taking an exam, make sure you know the different parts of the speaking test and what each part requires. Then, practice each part separately. For example, if one part requires you to describe an object, spend some time practicing that skill. Also, if you are taking an exam, make sure you know the marking criteria. The examiners will be marking you on your pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, fluency, and coherence. so make sure you practice each of these areas. Another thing you can do to prepare for your exam or class is to practice with a friend or family member. This will help you to get used to speaking in front of others. You can also record yourself while practicing. This will help you to identify your strengths and weaknesses. On the exam day, make sure you arrive early. This will help you to relax and calm down. Don't forget to bring any required materials, such as a pen or pencil, and make sure you have a clear understanding of the task before you start. During the exam, listen carefully to the questions and make sure you understand what is being asked. Take your time to think before you speak. It's better to give a thoughtful answer to one question than to rush through several questions. Try to use a variety of sentence structures and try to use less common vocabulary. This will help you to impress the examiner. Make sure you speak clearly and at a moderate pace. Don't be afraid to pause. This will give you time to think and will help your examiner to understand you better. Be polite and respectful to the examiner and to yourself. After the exam, don't dwell on your mistakes. Instead, focus on what you did well. Remember that even native speakers make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and keep practicing. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share this video if you liked it. See you next time.